Welcome to Unbiased and on the Fence. I'm Shane. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It is Tuesday. Joined with Michelle Wolfe. How are you, Michelle?
Hello, hello, hello. How about that Schumann?
Yeah, that's what I was just sitting here thinking. I mean, look at this. It's like a major blast. It's a whiteout that just started up. I don't know, within the
Yeah,
last
about a
couple
couple
hours.
hours ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen a blast like that in a little while. So, wee. Get ready.
I love it.
Yeah. So, yeah, and it was funny because, like I was telling you just before we came on here. Of course, we always get to a lot of good stuff before we go
I'm like, don't forget to
live.
re-say this again. Say this again. Don't
Yeah.
forget.
Yeah, and afterwards
Right.
we should record our after shows sometimes.
Right.
Put those out. But yeah, I was a couple hours ago was playing piano, and I noticed like a really odd sensation that I hadn't experienced before. So like my vision went wonky, went all double, and almost felt like I could get, it was like vortex times 10, except it wasn't really, it's spinning, wasn't like dizzy, but I think that's it. It just felt like it
Like a
really
whoosh.
cranked up. I almost felt this sensation like I could be pulled out. Like I almost thought it was going to pop out of my experience while I was sitting there. And it
Wow.
lasted for about a minute. And I was somehow it was really strange because I was, and this is the weird thing, and that even though my vision was wonky, it was like taking this picture, this eye, this picture, that eye, and doing like this a little bit. And but I kept playing piano. I finished one song and I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is really strange. And then went and was still able to go ahead and then play another song, and by the time I finished that song, it had sort of eased up. But through the whole experience, it definitely felt like I was somewhat outside of myself, yet still inside of myself, but had this really strong sensation, like, like I could be pulled right out. Very strong, the strongest I've felt it yet. Like not sleeping, not in dream, right? Like,
Yeah.
so, or not in that meditative state, like just sitting here doing my thing, and to get like struck like that was definitely the strongest I felt yet. So
And I've
mm-hmm.
I've definitely had that a few different times, and I always wonder. I'm
Yeah.
like, are we going to see some Mandela effect changes? Was it like, you
It
remember in The Matrix when the whole deja vu thing happened? That sort of going back in time for a moment and seeing the cat again. That whole
oh
scene,
that's
because it feels
yeah
like that. It feels sort of like it's almost dizzying because
it felt like I was like pulled back from reality for a moment, and it went like like it was switching over. So it was like one view and then another view, and they were like battling between the two,
yeah.
and it was like but I was pulled back from it till it like settled and snapped back into place.
How long did it go though? Was
About a minute.
like a whole minute?
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Okay. No, these
And that's
things
it.
that
And
I
but my
have.
body was still like function. Like I said, it happened in the middle of playing one song, and it was really weird. And then I don't know, but I was able to just, which is so strange to me because my vision was wonky and everything. So how was I still
Was there a
playing?
disconnect there? Was there a
Yeah.
disconnect there between, Michelle that's playing, you know what I mean, and Michelle that's observing all of this happening? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it did feel like that.
Like you were
Yeah.
just kind of in your
Like
consciousness a
like
little bit more, pulled out of the
yeah,
game a
I
little bit.
like here's me sitting playing the piano, and it was like like
Yeah.
something is like stretching, like pulling, stretching, like rubber pulling, and feeling that outside of myself and sort of viewing this weird perspective of these two different things, but still having still having the motor function and wherewithal to play the piano, but at the same time, actually, I'm sitting here going, like, I feel like I get pulled right out of this, or like the reality was shifting between the two. It felt
Do you
like
think it was?
resetting, and I was like pulled back from the experience, but did feel like the strongest that I felt yet of feeling like I could actually be pulled right out of the experience. It was very, very, very strange, and a very strong pull that I haven't experienced not waking. Yeah.
So
So
anything that I've had that's even remotely close to what you're talking about has never lasted anything more than just a moment, like a
that's what I was
second.
kind of getting, like, I don't want to say freaked out, but I mean, there's the different voices going on. I'm always aware of the different voices going on, right? And I'm aware of the
Right.
one that is playing the piano, and I'm aware of the one that's like grounded in the heart, and I'm aware of the one that's in the mind that is like, what the
Right. Right.
right?
You're having a
Well,
stroke. Am I?
yeah, not well, it wasn't saying physical, but it was actually
Right.
going like, what the F? Like, I could be like, am I gonna be pulled right out of this like a rubber band?
Right.
Like, it was like, what is gonna happen? Where the other one was, this one's just observing, just completely observing, making the choice for the physical one to continue playing the piano.
Right.
It's very strange, yeah, and it was very surreal, but it felt like a physical pull, and it felt like a real physical distortion of reality. It did, and it felt like it was like flipping or fighting images, like shifting. So I wouldn't be surprised too if we had some Mandela effects or something. I don't know. And I didn't know the Schumann. Um, you know, I didn't know about the Schumann. I carried on for a little while, about an hour and a half is when I checked in and saw that the Schumann was blasting. And
Yeah.
then I messaged you right away. I was like, wow, that's kind of interesting, because I was aware of the Schumann going off, but I just find the timing of it
Yeah. It's
pretty
still blasting
curious.
away. Yeah.
Wondering, I'm not saying I know for sure it's connected, but
What are you thinking it's connected to?
I
Just
don't
this
know.
gathering, this gathering of souls here. We're a powerful group, aren't
Yeah, yeah. Although I think a lot of time I see Schumann spikes go on before with the show. Eh? I
we?
do. I do
Yeah, I
see
do
that.
too.
I
Yeah,
do
that's
think we do that sometimes. Yeah. I think we're getting rather good at it, actually. So who's excited? Who's excited
I've been
about
feeling
the
that.
trip?
See, and I hate that it's like because, well, I guess becoming present and really separating yourself from the ego and all of that is helpful in this. But just knowing if I'm feeling excited about the energies or the upcoming get together and or what it is, But I have been feeling a lot of high vibe energy coming through, and even it
Yeah.
hasn't been all smooth sailing. I've had a lot of things where I had to really apply some trust and things like that. So it's not like it's been without challenge and things are just going so smoothly that everything's great. It's been intense at times, but at the same time, I've just really stayed engaged with that whole trust.
There's a newfound confidence and ability to handle things
Yeah.
and roll with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a
And to
confidence.
release, to,
Mm-hmm.
to release those things that are really out of your hand and say, you know, I've done all I can.
I'm good with it.
You guys
I'm
are,
good with it.
it's up to you
Yeah.
guys. And then just trust whatever that outcome is.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And not feel that, emotional roller coaster reactionary, or feel obligated to play out certain behaviors and stories that we've played out before many times.
Mm-hmm. And
Not
it's not like you
feeling
can flip
required
a
to do
switch
it.
and be done with it. You have to continually keep your mind in check, because before you know it,
Yeah.
you'll start worrying about something. It's like, let's become present and be in the moment. Everything's great at
Yeah.
this moment, you know. And
Yeah. Well, I think I had a good conversation with mom earlier too, talking about how um you know s- the different stages, and she's noticing a newfound ability of observation in others, and where you're not looking at things from a personal level, like it's taking things personally, but sort of seeing how people display, being really teaching her, through body language and how they tell stories, and how
hmm
to look behind all that as to what attentions really are,
yeah,
um, and what these patterns are, and to look behind the words, the display, to see the true intentions of people, to get a better understanding of where they're coming at, and then you're not taking things in a personal way, but um, then explaining the next step beyond that is when, okay, once you get a good idea of that, now you really have to apply it to yourself,
hmm
becoming, really aware of your body language, your stories, your behaviors in relation to your environment. And that's where it gets really interesting, because you'll be surprised how many things you do, how you present yourself physically, how you explain yourself, all these different things, where those intentions are coming from. And when we really like get into all that, all these behaviors and patterns all become completely unnecessary. And it becomes so much easier to see the illusion, not just with others, but the illusion with yourself. Again, because it always comes back. The real mastery is when it comes back to you, in the truth within you, and speaking your own truth,
hmm
what stories you're going to tell. So yeah, it's an interesting progression that that I'm really seeing play out. So
it's
mhm.
been really easy for me to sort of release the, I guess the let go of the importance of some of the worldviews and things like that, just because it seems like more than anything they divide, you know.
A
So
lot. Yep.
and a lot of the stuff no one has a definitive answer for anyway, you know, and a lot of people just aren't even honest with themselves enough to say, you know what, no one really knows, you know, for sure.
Yeah.
You really have to go off your own experience. You know, so much of what I base my beliefs on are from firsthand experience, you know, so it's hard to, you know, push that onto anyone else because I know it took me having the experience to feel that way. And I know that someone else will have to have that experience as well. It's sort of like the Mandela effect. You can't just tell somebody about it and they're like, oh, they get it. You know, they have to have
No,
that change happen where they're
that
like,
experience.
whoa, right.
So let them have that experience.
Exactly. And it's like that with the Mandela effect, but really it's like that with anything. You don't want to
Yeah.
push it. You got to let people have their experience and come along whenever they come along and just be okay with that, you know?
Yeah, because who are you pushing it for?
Right. That's where the ego kind of steps in, you know?
It always does.
Yeah.
Because again, like I said, come back to not their story.
Yeah.
Even, that's great. Like we realize, oh, let them have their own experience.
Yeah.
Okay, I can let them have their own experience. But now it comes back to, again, to you to address, why do I need what is coming from me in that whole equation,
hmm
right? And understanding our needs and intentions and what's driving that, and really where is that coming from? Is it coming from this thought process, or is it coming from this thought process?
hmm
That's really where the mastery lies. So it's great when we see the key to better understanding and having forgiveness, compassion, with
Yeah.
others, and respecting their process, and knowing that we can all change because we've changed ourselves in sometimes overnight, and we can all have those moments. It's not something we can push, but again, you always got to take it that one step further to really dig even deeper, to address your own intentions and all of those things, and where they're coming from. Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Yeah, because it is all about you.
Yeah, it
Right.
is, and that gets back to that whole. I had the Mandela effect with the golden child, that because he says the whole thing. Oh, I'm the chosen one or whatever. And I think a lot of people in the our community, instead of being too into the ego, they do the opposite. Like, what could I do? How could I possibly make a huge difference? And you know what I mean? And they don't really step into their roles because it would be too egoic, I guess. But there's a balance there both ways. You don't want to be too,
There
because
is the subtleties to it. What are the needs that are really honestly like being really honest with yourself
yeah,
about what is motivating you to think that you have to do these things or say these things or behave in these certain ways. where
yeah,
where is that coming from? What is that stemming from? And some people are very quick to answer that, but I that's really something you need to slow down with and really take an honest look at, because I think if you keep bringing it back to the root, you'll see how much the ego does drive a need to be recognized, a need to be appreciated, a need to be so many different things. So it's like, it's not to say that we can't go out there and put that um, best foot forward to help and give others.
yeah.
But I feel that there really is a stripping bare process to, again, making sure that those intentions are coming from a completely grounded place. And in all honesty, you have to be giving all of that love and attention to yourself first before everybody else. If you're always focusing on everybody else and what everybody else needs,
Yeah.
you're not addressing your own needs and asking questions about what those needs are.
That really comes back to what I was actually saying about the earth. Like, we don't give enough love to the earth, because we feel like we're not from here. So, like, this isn't my planet or whatever. But we do that with ourselves as well. Look at my
Oh,
body.
yeah.
I'm all
Yeah.
fat and you don't feel great. I'm so unhealthy. And you're always telling yourselves these negative things, and it's like we
There's your
tell these,
story.
yeah, but it's like, instead of saying, I love you, thanks for waking up with me today. And so, and then I'm talking to myself too. So,
Yeah,
you know,
listen, we all do it. Like, that's one of the challenges, certainly, especially as your body ages and we all go through,
yeah, it's
all
hard to
kinds
love
of
yourself,
things.
you know,
Yeah, it really is.
hard to
And
forgive yourself. We're hard on ourselves a lot, in really every area of life. And
yeah,
it hurts us with loving others. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah, our fear of judgment is enormous. And I think that's one thing that comes down to our fear of how others view us or think of us, or how they may judge us. Um, is a big driver in behaviors that we don't really realize. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And that's really when we talk about awareness. That's what we're talking about, is beginning to, take this third person point of view and really look at your motives and your actions and your beliefs and all of this, from not the place of the emotions and why you believe what you believe. Because, we believe some things, we believe for real silly reasons when you really think about it. Well, I believe it because my parents taught me that, or and we just
hmm
carry it around. Or my third grade teacher told me that, and I've always just believed that. You know what I mean? So,
hmm
so it's just letting go of all that stuff because we don't even know. But having that greater awareness or expanded consciousness to even see how you're operating and how your thoughts are processed
and I
is
think that's
huge.
exactly how these energy shifts work,
Yeah,
is that
it
they
brings
come
things
in
to
and
the
they
surface.
blast us and it shakes us out of that stasis we've been in, and that locked in viewpoint, and all of a sudden we're over here going, okay, so why did I always think that that was the way things were?
All right. Or
Oh,
where did
because
that
of
come
that?
from?
Well, does
Yeah.
that really make sense anymore? Hold on a second, right? And start, and that's how we start on this this process, right? Well, maybe reality isn't, what I thought it was. So, and then start digging for those truths. And we dig for those truths in the world all around us. Like, and it really excites us to uncover all these truths. But again, it's always got to come back first full circle. And you got to be once you've expired digging the truths outside, that it you there's you really that's the next shift and shake that goes, oh, hold on a second, no, it really is all about me, like I'm bringing it back to me. Well, start digging in the truths of what that is. And when you start applying all that you've learned with that new perspective to yourself, when you can see yourself like in this rat race, play and see how you've played all these roles in these stories and to fit in this whole thing, and you step outside of that, start to really question, the whole story and why you were doing those things. And
Yeah.
yeah.
One of the things that I do with, because so much of our life is a loop. We do these loops of, it's the daily grind. So many of you go to work or whatever, but they're loops. And what I started doing, I think it was around the time that I was like looking into the law of one stuff, and they were talking about catalysts and things. So what I do is, if anything stands out that is like outside of the norm, whether it's someone cut you off, a dog runs out in front of you, maybe someone's broke down on the side of the road, somebody comes up and knocks on your window and says, just anything that's outside of that normal loop that you go through all of the time.
Right.
Start looking for meaning in that, because a lot of times you'll find it, because it's like,
what's breaking the loop, yeah, or
right.
What's the story going on in that loop, in that current loop.
Exactly. And what it also does is it keeps you in the now moment, because you're like always looking, you're observing at how this is the same as yesterday or the day before or whatever. This is normal. Like, oh, well, this person crossing the street, this is different. And it makes you really observe and be in the moment, but you can also find yourself, you might find yourself in a place where you can help somebody or something, because you're more aware of what's going on and what's out of the norm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it makes life more enjoyable too,
Yeah. I just got a lot of tarot cards really taught me a lot about that, and the loops and the cycles and the places of stories like within, and so then how to look at those like symbolisms within those loops. It helped me, like you said, to find the meaning of it helped me to find the meaning of those the stories within the loops and where they fit in the greater stories, how those cycles work, how those archetypes work.
Yeah.
And that's how I've seen it a lot in the dreams too. For a good couple months early on in this year was a lot of information about the cycles, the cyclical nature of the stories and the archetypes and how they fit in. And it was the subtleties of how they fit together, what goes with what, and how to create that perfect balance in those cycles and those archetypes, and the nuances of that. So it was definitely a lot of information about that. And I think it's to get that greater understanding, to learn how to master those cycles here, right? How to roll with it.
How to roll with it. So yeah, that's they refer to that as catalyst in the law of one. So just to push you further, to polarize you one way or the other. In the law of one, it explains it as pushing you further to the negative or to the positive. And you see that with people. You can see something happen to someone and they spiral into negativity. They're like, well, how could this happen to me? And, where someone else might think, well, maybe I need to change this or do this, and, they'll move towards the positive. So I think I really enjoy that with the law of one, explaining that. But it also makes you more aware of what's going on all the time, too.
Yeah. Well, I think, when you look at somebody in a situation like that, and how they react in that situation, what do you see, with the differences in behavior and body language? If you get a picture of that person that either rages against it, there's an instantaneous emotional reaction that's just, full of story and, swearing, like all that, why the victim and everything happens and blah, 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 blah. There's so much that they put out there. But then you think of the person that takes that catalyst and instead typically goes very quiet,
Yeah.
goes, and goes internally and takes a look at it and takes a look at it within themselves, not
Yeah.
pushing the whole experience outside of themselves, like it's all about outside themselves. It really is the key, the difference between going those two ways, whether you're going to push the experience of something happening to you outside of you because of everything around you, or whether you're going to take it as an experience that is within you to teach you about you and learn about you and be a better you.
Yeah. And recognize when you have those strong emotional responses to things,
Mm-hmm.
take a look at whatever it was. Because I notice, like, these energies that come in or an experience that come in, and it'll bring things to the surface that you need to deal with. And when you have that strong emotional response, that's a very good indicator for me anyway. It's like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
this really triggered me. I mean, my heart's racing, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Why did this bother me so badly? Or.
Yeah. And how do I really want to move through this situation? How do
Yeah.
I really want to feel about this situation? And if your mind immediately goes to, well, justification and this and that, well, hold on a second. Again, that's your ego
Yeah.
talking,
Sure is.
right? And you got to take another step back again. So, and dig a little deeper. Mm-hmm.
It can be
Yeah.
tough though.
It
Sometimes you're put in a
can.
position where you feel like you have to defend yourself or whatever, and it's hard.
Yeah,
And
and
what's
we
the balancing
can. I
act?
mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but are you carrying like anxiety? Are you communicating, with somebody else in a way that's aggressive with your energy and forceful with your energy? Are you
Hmm.
pushing your intention on somebody else? That's where you have to take a step back,
Yeah, because you're
because
actually
you're not doing
robbing that
yourself any
person's
good.
energy if you're not handling something right. Like the Celestine prophecies, it shows that relationship of people pulling energy out of other people, and instead
Exactly.
of pulling it in from source, which is
Yeah.
infinite. You know.
There would be so much more we would see in that exchange of energy if we didn't focus on the words that were coming out of people's mouths. If we I think I explained a few weeks ago, if we were all deaf and couldn't hear this story all the time that people told, like, perceive things very differently. And I think that you would see how people use energy, push their energy on you, try to take energy from you.
Hmm.
You'd be much more aware if you weren't distracted about reading through the lines of what they're saying and getting caught up in the stories that they're telling. The stories are all a distraction, all the reasons. If you get elemental to it with the energy, sense whether they're trying to push their energy on you or take energy from you, it becomes very easy to see the truths of people's intentions. So you don't need all the words, you don't need all the stories
Yeah,
anymore.
you
So,
start
and
to
then,
tap into energy of it, right?
yeah, and then in turn, you have less need to reciprocate and participate in those stories or continuation of them yourself. So,
I had Marianne says, I think some of the dreams we are tapping into are timelines that are collapsing and fizzling out. I think that's very much a possibility because it's like
could,
a
yeah.
soup of, I always view it, I know it's helpful to say timelines, but I always view it as sort of a soup of consciousness, of possibilities, and, you're really only collapsing the one you're focused on, like
It's like a
quantum physics
collapsing an
show.
experience or resolving an experience without having to play it out physically. I think
Yeah.
more so. It,
So if your brain's tapping in, your brain can tap into that sea of consciousness and really pick up anything, you know?
yeah, and play out an exchange that needs to be
Yeah.
played out to, close an issue or do or resolve things or transmute or do a whole variety of things. I think it's a real multi-level experience that we
Yeah.
can accomplish in dream state, as far as all the different things that we can do. You know, there's
Don't you think
different
it's sort
states.
of don't you think it's sort of automatic too? It's like whatever you're sort of resonating at in your life, even if you've got like sort of this orchestra of sounds. You know what I mean? Like where you think of there's these different vibrations, and each one is sort of pulling in other ones that resonate with it. And so if
So
you
funny you say that. That's really how I'm experiencing dreams now. I'm going to talk about all these like fine harmonics of
yeah.
um yeah, playing out the dream. That's really kind of how I'm experiencing it.
So it's more
Um
of an automatic thing, you know?
it's yeah. Well, yeah, but it's like an orchestra. It is.
Yeah.
It's like an orchestra. There's all these different, and that's kind of been the interesting thing about playing music and like learning to play music so much
Yeah.
this year, and then seeing that represented in the dreams too. And I know that it's helping me experience and understand that within dreams, the symphony of experience. You know, just like I said, like the stories and the archetypes, it's like a symphony that's going on, and there's a fine harmonics to everything. Each of these components having a resonance and becoming familiar with the harmonics. That's been very much my dream experiences. Having a greater understanding of the relationship, feeling the resonance and the tuning, and feeling reality as a orchestrated symphony is a really good way of putting it.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, because it really puts a something we can understand in with the vibrations. I mean, it's really an apt comparison because the vibrations are there; they're just outside the range of what we can hear, you know. But it really is
Yeah,
frequencies that we're putting out.
yeah. I mean, can you imagine being the maestro to your own orchestra, your own symphony that is life?
Or be able to expand your hearing to be able to hear what you're putting out, and then you'd always have
Experience it.
this. You
Yeah.
know that you're putting out discord when you're like, "What's that sound I'm putting out?" You know what I
Well,
mean?
you physically feel it.
Yeah, you
Like
do.
you physically feel the harmonics of it.
Yeah,
It's unsettling. The resin is like it's a physical sensation is what I'm understanding. Like the fine tuning of it, involves the physical form or and feeling that physical harmonics
that's really what the
within your
emotions
own
are,
body.
isn't it?
Hmm?
It's what the emotions are. It's the indicator of what sort of music you're putting out, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Think
Yeah, it
about
can
it,
be.
because if you're angry, you can feel that discord, and you know it's like hitting some of those low keys on the piano. You got some of them you can
Yeah.
slam your hand down on over there.
Yeah.
Dun, dun.
Oh, I turned it off.
Oh, okay.
I turned it off. Dum, 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 dum. I'll have to practice that.
But yeah, but yeah, if we could, if you can sort of tap into the emotions of it, and make it an indicator of what you're putting out all the time. It's like the
Hmm.
dashboard. Your emotions are the dashboard of, what you're putting out there.
Yeah, whether or not your engine light's going off, right?
Right.
Your engine light's flashing. Need
Service engine
oil
soon.
means
Yeah.
meditate. Let's say
Needs
what we're
maintenance. Yeah.
what's that?
Need maintenance or
Need me, yeah,
service soon.
exactly. Service soon.
Yeah.
What were we talking about earlier? The time synchronicities.
Oh yeah, time has been really weird. So it keeps seeming like 2 days ago that we've done a show, and I'm like
Yeah,
putting the dates in. I'm like freaking out that there was 5 Tuesdays in July because I don't know, time's been really weird.
it really wonky, but I thought it was funny. Like before the show was a great example. Like you checked your phone or whatever, and it was like 222, and then it immediately updated to like 226,
Yeah.
and we are laughing about it because I was like, oh, just in case you missed it, just in case, just so you know, wink, wink,
Yeah.
nod, nod, nod,
Yeah.
and I said the number synchronicities are like notifications, like turning on your notifications from God.
Yeah, the synchronicities are notifications from God. And I heard Aluna
Yeah,
Ash talking about it, a few other people talking about how the young people are starting to do
notice
the
it. Yeah, the
11
11s.
11s and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then, so we've got like major energies coming in. I heard Aluna Ash talking about it, some kind of galactic new year or something. hit, and
Yeah,
then
we're
Magenta Pixie's talking about this Lionsgate portal that's
yeah.
opening up between, I guess, now and
I
through
think
8/8
yeah,
or 8/12.
August is going to be a real acceleration of energy, and I think even what I experienced today just shows me that. So I knew
Yeah,
we had some energy coming in like yesterday and today. So see that on the Schumann now, but yeah, going and I think Luna said the third as well, possibly.
yeah,
Um, yeah, and then of course then the Lionsgate, right? But
and
I'm
that's
seeing
what
a lot of
Magenta
things.
Pixie. She actually
Mm-hmm.
said 8/8 through 8/12, and I'm like, no way, because if you only knew what went on with trying to get that date and just the synchronicities
Yeah,
surrounding that date for
yeah,
ECETI, and how
I
then they
know.
tried to move it. They said, well, we're not going to be doing it that weekend. I'm like, well, I've already announced that date. We got to,
Well, that's
and then
gonna
it,
happen.
and then it ended up working out, and then
Yeah,
so it was like it's just going to be huge. And then when she said that, I'm like, oh, so it was important that we meet at this time.
yeah, yeah. We're really gonna be grounding in some energy. I think everything's gonna accelerate tenfold. Especially in August, in a lot of ways, geopolitically, energetically. Like you're gonna see it play out in all levels, and I'm not, and this in a good way, like like a lot more people really noticing a real change, a real shift,
Hmm.
more people waking up, like a real energetic shift. Yeah, so it's really going to accelerate this month in
Yeah, it
so many
is
ways. Hmm. It's
exciting.
exciting. Hmm.
Yes, Lenny, that is when we're going to be at ECETI. You're going to be there, right? Let's see. Hey, Raleigh. Okay, so let me show you the artwork we've been doodling.
Oh yeah, you guys, did you take pictures of your stuff too? You guys show
Yeah.
your stuff. Don't just show my stuff.
No, I'm going to show mine too because when I was showing you,
Your
I
stuff's cool.
well, thank you, I appreciate it. Let's see, we're going to go to let's see what the Schumann's doing really fast.
Hmm.
I'm going to switch to
Flashed.
the.
Oh
There it
yeah.
is.
Can you feel it, baby?
Okay, here we go. Look at that.
Oh,
That's awesome.
oh, it's another one. It's another doodle.
Oh, I love that detail in there. That's really nice.
Pointillism.
Yeah.
Some cross hatching.
Yeah.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
I love it.
Yeah. Not done yet. But we like to share our doodle pictures now when we get together. It's like, look what
Yeah.
I made. Look what I made. And that's just some coloring.
And you say you did this. This is dry colors, not wet, right? It's like
No,
pencils
that's,
and
yeah,
crayons.
that's just pencil crayon.
Oh, that's cool. So is that two different colors there, or three different colors?
That's just shading one color.
Oh, okay. You just got real light. Okay.
Yeah. Hmm. Oh, that's another one I did. Not a very good picture, but cute.
Very nice. This is just coloring.
Hmm.
Very nice.
Yeah. I think I'm going to get back into portraiture, though. I've been hooked in on this Portrait Artist of the Year show. It's a competition in Britain uh, with portraiture. So I don't know. I think I'm going to get back into
That'd
trying
be
that. I
nice.
like to do that. I go all over the place, one end of the scale to the other.
Here's the one that I did.
Yeah, and you
Oh
add
well.
more. I like your little
Yeah.
alien face in the clouds.
Yeah, over here with the little nostrils.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the idea of it was I was showing the spraying and what are they trying to hide and just different, the UFOs,
Hmm.
Nibiru, and the cosmic and solar rays. And then, of course, the
Yeah.
brain down
And the
here. This
brain
is
down there. I like that.
and see how the chain is hooked to the left
Hmm.
side. So.
That's awesome. What about the new on this one? Yeah, this is great. I love this. That's awesome.
Thanks.
What about there's one more that you did too. There, this is crazy. I love
Oh, the
this.
vortex tree. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
this is perfect.
I'd
Look at
seen
that,
one
guys.
in Sedona. I'd seen one, and I was inspired to draw it. So it's been sort of lingering in my mind since then, and I didn't
Mm-hmm.
take it. And it's something about, if you're trying to if you're taking an image or sitting somewhere and drawing something, it's different than just sort of pulling it from your mind. And
Yeah, yeah. I love this picture. This is so good. See, I love what you did with the hearts on the side. That's a great example of that doodle design. Like that
yeah,
just, it just looks so cool though. But I love the tree. I love the pen. I love the pen and ink like that.
thanks so
The
much.
colors, that's great. Love that one.
Awesome. So hopefully that inspires somebody.
Yeah.
Like you inspired
People
me,
are gonna have
It's
to
like,
send in their, you know what? People should just send in their pictures,
yeah,
their doodle
definitely.
pictures, so we can show email
I need to have a
and send
spot on
them.
the
You can
forum
email
for
either one
sure.
of us because I can save them for the show to show you too. So if
Or I
anybody
could
wants
put
to
them in the
email,
forum and then pull them up there from one
yeah, we can
place.
show
And
other
people,
people's creative pictures and ideas. So send them in, guys,
yeah,
and we can all share and see what everybody else is creating.
yeah, very nice. So, do you have anything left to do? Are you pretty much ready to?
Oh, I got to pack. Yeah, no
That's
big
pretty
deal.
much
I
it,
got a
huh?
week today. I fly out to Houston, so um, I mean, I leave here. I think I'm probably leaving on Sunday. Because planes, trains, and automobiles for me. So I'll be making stops along the way. So I'm gonna go do some visiting before I fly out.
Yeah,
Yeah, and doing a little bit of here and there, popping around here and there before I make it there. So, but I'll be leaving home anyways.
in a week.
Probably, yeah, but on the weekend, yeah, and flying out on Tuesday. So that's exciting. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I'm
I can't
really
believe it's
excited.
almost here. Can't wait to believe we're halfway through summer.
Yeah, I
So
know. We're already
nuts.
talking about the kids going back to school in like less than a month now.
Yeah, yeah, it goes by so fast.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad we're getting to do this. So, it's I'm so glad we planned this, and it's going to be great to yeah, it's going to be one to remember for the summer of 2019.
Oh,
I
definitely.
think,
I think
it's
we got
really
some
going to
big
add.
stuff in 2020 too.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Well, we'll have to make it an annual thing, eh? If it goes well.
Yeah. Are you going
So,
to record on your trip? Are you going to do any vlogging
yeah.
that you can?
Yeah, I'm gonna take some video and see what happens. I don't make promises anymore because I realize I'll say it, I'll have the best of intentions. So, and then I just won't feel like it, and I just don't do it. So, we'll see what happens. You never know. I just go with it day by day, right? What do you feel like doing today, Michelle? I'm kind of like Napoleon Dynamite in that way. What are you gonna do today, Napoleon? Whatever I want.
Right.
So, yeah, so I just kind of stick to that.
Actually, Lenny, no, I emailed them a few weeks ago when I told you guys and followed up with another email, and they still haven't hit me back. I don't know what's going on with them at ECETI, but
Mm.
if you want, you can just try to call them and ask them. Um, and if anybody finds out, you can let me know, and I can post it on the forum or announce it here. Trying to figure out if you can get in on Thursday and Sunday if you're not staying there, because it looks like you can only buy the. Because it's like
Yeah,
that for you. You were only able to buy Friday and Saturday Skywatch tickets, and it's.
yeah,
But we
yeah,
can meet. There's a cafe in town or something. So those
yeah.
staying
We can
off,
just do that.
we
Fun,
can
yeah.
just figure something out and meet off site or something, and just
Hmm.
go have lunch and hang out. So it doesn't have to
Yeah,
be at
I think that's
ECETI.
a
If
good idea. Find a
yeah,
patio, or
I think it's like 5 minutes away or something. It's not even that far.
yeah, that would be
So
good.
yeah, so we
Hmm.
could do something like that. So
Yeah, see
I
who's
guess we need
around
to
and
figure out how we're going to communicate. Maybe through the website or get somebody's. I've because you don't have. I guess we'll figure out something because we need to text or email or something so people will know where.
right. Facebook. Do you have Facebook that you can post on in case you need to get word out to like a larger group of people? I think we could mutually share and post. I
Mm.
think between everybody,
Like do like a
it'll
big
be good.
Facebook message thing. That would be a good idea with
Yeah,
everybody.
that might
That's
might for those. Yeah, just
that are going
one
to be
way
there?
to, if you need to sort of communicate to the group at large, maybe, or on Messenger. I don't know. Start a Messenger group
Hmm.
just for ECETI. Um, I don't know. Just coming up with ideas. You guys have ideas? Let us know.
See, I need a social media person.
Yeah, it's not me, that's for sure. I'm barely sociable these days.
I know. It's like I try to set everything up to just automatically do the social media. So I go live. It
Yeah,
just sends out something on Facebook and Twitter. I don't really ever go there too much.
I
It's like,
haven't been on Facebook in the longest time, so yeah. But
and I always
hmm
say that I'm like, if you need to get a hold of me, please email me because it can be a while before I notice any sort of
yeah, I just
message on Facebook or something.
hmm
And then I have people that aren't my friend and they send me a message. It had been years. And then I like went in there and I'm like, oh, there's a whole nother section for people that send you messages that aren't your friends.
friends,
Did
right?
you know about that?
Y- Oh no, like a different page. Well, I know
Yeah.
there's.
It's
I
a
was
different
getting a lot of
tab.
stuff for a while, and I
It's
just
a
kind of
different
gave up
tab
on
at
it.
the top. So yeah, it's
Right.
a different
Oh,
tab
I
that I
think
didn't
I know
know
what you
about.
mean. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and I went in there and I was like, oh, look at all of this. But most of the people that they had gotten a hold of me some other way by the time
right,
I saw that.
right. Yeah, and
It's
I learned,
interesting.
and YouTube has a message thing too, which I didn't realize for the longest time. But I don't really check that either. So, but I know
Interesting.
where my friends are. I can find them. So I don't worry about much else. You know.
So we won't be here next week
No, I'll be flying. Yeah.
or the week
Or,
after.
or the week after.
Or
Yeah.
the
So this will be our last show for
almost a month, 3 weeks.
the end of, yeah, it's a little summer holiday. Sorry, guys. So, well, maybe we'll see what happens. Again, no promises, Michelle.
I
We'll
might be
see
able
what
to get
happens.
some. I might be able to get some footage of us at ECETI and then premiere it or
Yeah.
something.
I
We
think
we might be
Dan
able to
was
figure
gonna
something
do
out.
some stuff too, right?
That'd be cool.
Dan from
Yeah.
K2D4, yeah.
Maybe he'll
So
let me download his and re-upload it to the channel or something.
yeah, yeah. We'll
Have all
go
of
with the
us
flow.
go with the different camera angles. Last time I was borrowing footage from him. I'm like, oh, you got a great angle here. I'm gonna borrow that.
Oh, that's cool. That comes in handy. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea. Well, I'll take
Awesome.
video too. I'm sure lots of people have stuff to contribute to put something together.
Okay. Lots of
Alrighty.
love, you guys. Thank you, Michelle, for being here.
Of course, brother.
See you
Love
in
you.
three
Love you
weeks.
all. See some
Here.
of you very
See you,
soon.
but see you in real life before then.
I know.
That's
Huggies.
yeah, that's
Can't
awesome.
wait.
Finally,
Yay.
it's almost hard to believe I've never met you in person. I
No, I
feel
know it's
like
kind of really weird,
it is
actually.
weird. It is weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I feel like I just know you so well.
yeah.
We like it's well over a year now that we talk every single week at minimum,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
So it'll
I
be
don't
fun,
know,
and then to
but it's
meet
always been
everybody
like that.
else.
It's
You
always
know,
been like I knew you. Hmm?
and then we're
Hmm.
meeting all the viewers that are going to be there. That's awesome.
I know, I know. It's gonna be. I hope I keep everybody's names straight, because a lot of you are gonna know my name, see my face all the time. But it's yeah, I keep
That is
up with
tough.
everything. Yeah,
That is tough
like to
because it'd
keep
be
up.
somebody that you know really well, but you don't know their face. So it's
Right.
like, hey, and I'm like, I don't know you. I'm sorry. Like, and then they'll say their screen name, and I'm like, oh yeah, what's
Yeah.
up?
We'll see how it
So
goes.
yeah, it's like memorizing people by their screen name and their real name, and then
Yeah,
adding in the
I know
face,
that'll be
and
funny. No.
it can get rough. So it's a lot on the memory there. So you guys cut
That's
us
funny.
some slack if we're horrible with the
Yeah,
names and stuff.
exactly. Don't take it personally.
I did horrible at the Tulsa get together, and there was only like I think 18 people or whatever, and I was like, oh, and you know what? And in Austin, 7 of the people shared a name.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Like there was 2 Megans, 2 Sherrys, 2. I
Oh,
can't.
okay.
Right. You
I
know
was
what I
like,
mean?
7 people named John. I'm like, that would suck. You'd be like, John?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
that'd be weird. There were 7 pairs though, which
Right.
was weird because there was only like 21 people or something. So it's
That's
like a
funny.
third of the group shared a name with someone else there.
Right. Right.
You know.
Well, I want, you know what? That might I know, yeah, that might be the case. We'll be curious to see. I'm sure there'll be a lot of shared names, actually. I think among us.
Yeah. There's
Yeah,
going to be at least 3 Michelles there.
yeah. But there's only one. Sorry, guys. That's my ego. That's not me. It's not actually me. All
Don't
right.
get mad at
I
her.
gotta
Just
let
get
it
mad at
out
her
of the
ego.
closet. Every now and then I open the door and let it pop out. I'm gonna go.
Pop out and wave. Hey,
Yeah.
still here.
Yeah.
All right. Lots of love, you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Have a good one. Thank you. Peace.
Peace.
If you'd like to support the work I do, go to paypal.me/UOTF. Thanks.